Hi everyone, I am Ma'am Mercy C. Morales, and today we will be discussing preparing resume and cover letter. Now, there are two reasons why we need to discuss how to prepare a resume and a cover letter. First, of course, this is a requirement in your work immersion class. And the second one, the more important one, is this will be of importance when you want to apply for a job in the future. So now let us first discuss the difference between the two. Okay, when we say a resume, it is a brief summary of personal information, education, skills, work experience, activities, and interests. So, kapag sinabi nating resume, dapat naglalaman ito ng mga impormasyon na dapat malaman ng pinagpasahan mong kumpanya tungkol sa'yo. Ano ba yung personal information mo, saan ka nag-aral, ano yung natapos mo, ano na yung mga work experiences mo, so that the company or the institution will know sino ka, ano na yung mga nagawa mo at ano yung may offer mo sa company or sa institution namin. No? While a cover letter is similar to a letter of application in the company's a resume. Kaya yung cover letter, minsan tinatawag din itong application letter o di kaya naman ay letter of intent. Your cover letter should reflect your understanding of the company and how you may be able to meet their needs. No? So yung cover letter mo, ang nilalaman niya ay hindi na yung personal information mo kasi nilagay mo na yun sa resume. Yung cover letter mo, ang lalamanin niya ay ano yung nalalaman mo sa kumpanya, bakit or saan mo nakita na hiring yung company, no? Bakit mo gustong doon mag-apply sa company na iyon, and what can you offer to the job that you are applying for into the company. So, that's the difference between a resume and a cover letter. Tandaan natin na kapag magpapasa tayo ng resume sa isang kumpanya or sa isang institution na balak nating pag-applyan or pagtrabahuhan, dapat lagi itong may kasamang cover letter or application letter. Tandem silang dalawa lagi. Kagaya nga nung sabi ko, tandem lagi yung resume and cover letter. So, isa pang difference ng dalawa ay resumes can be mass-produced while cover letters are more personal. No? Kapag halimbawa gusto nating mag-apply sa trabaho, syempre, di ba, naniniwala tayo na more entries, more chances of winning, di ba? So, hanggat maaari, para mas may chance tayo na makatanggap ng callback or ng interview, magpapasa tayo sa iba't ibang mga institution. Halimbawa, if you are an education graduate in the future, sa mga nagbabalak na magturo, magpapasa ka sa iba't ibang mga schools, di ba? Para mas may chance ka na matawagan ka. Now, resumes can be mass-produced kasi isa lang naman yung nilalaman nun, di ba? Yung information mo, yung iyong experiences and educational background, isa lang yun. Kaya, yung resume, pwede siyang i-reproduce at ipasa sa iba't ibang institution. Pero yung cover letter, since naglalaman yun ng understanding mo doon sa institution or doon sa company, naglalaman yun ng ano yung kaya mong i-offer doon sa gusto mong apply ang trabaho, mas personal siya. Hindi mo siya pwedeng i-reproduce at yun lang din yung ipasa mo sa iba't ibang mga institution. No? So, again, resumes can be mass-produced. Cover letters are more personal. No? So, that's a major difference between the two. Now that you know the difference between a resume and a cover letter, let us now discuss everything that you need to know about writing a cover letter or a letter of application. The very first thing that you need to know in writing your cover letter or letter of application is your purpose. Why am I writing a cover letter? Bakit hindi na lang resume yung ipasa ko? Remember that the purpose of your cover letter is to complement your resume and not to repeat it. No? Kapag nagpasa ka na ng resume, yung cover letter mo, hindi mo na yung lalagyan ng mga personal information mo o yung mga work experiences mo, hindi na. That would be redundant kasi nandun na yun sa resume mo. Your cover letter and resume are siblings in that they're related but have different features and characteristics. So, sabi nga natin kanina, yung resume, naglalaman siya ng personal information mo. Yung cover letter, mas personal siya pero ang nilalaman niya ay yung intent mo. Bakit mo gustong doon sa kumpanya na yun magtrabaho? Bakit mo gustong makuha yung position na yun? No? What can you offer to the company or to the institution? Yun yung dahilan kung bakit kailangang magsulat ka ng cover letter. Okay, now that you have determined your purpose in writing a cover letter, these are some of the reasons why you send a cover letter. Discover job openings, initiate contacts, respond to an advertisement, follow up a referral by personal contact or employment agency. No? Yung mga dahilan na yan yung mga dahilan bakit kailangang partneran mo yung resume mo ng cover letter. Siyempre, yung cover letter mo, kagaya nga ng sabi natin kanina, mas personal siya. Doon mo maipapakita kung saan mo nalaman yung trabaho, bakit bigla kang nag-apply dun sa institution na yon or bakit bigla kang nag-apply dun sa company na yon. In writing your cover letter also, you initiate contact. Mas personal yung approach mo doon sa trabahong gusto mong pasukan. You respond to an advertisement, that's why you also write your cover letter. And sometimes, kung halimbawa may nag-refer sa'yo doon sa company na yon, no, your cover letter can also function as a follow-up, a referral by personal contact or employment agency. Okay, now that you know the reasons why you send a cover letter, it is important that you observe formality in writing one. How do you do that? It should be addressed to a specific person. Kapag daw nagsusulat ka ng cover letter, using specific person by name is more effective. No? Magbibigay ako ng halimbawa, and this example will be used all throughout the discussion, no? Para mas maging malinaw sa atin. Okay, halimbawa, ikaw ay mag-a-apply ng trabaho at gusto mong maging teacher, no? Yun na lang yung ating ibibigay na example. No, for example, you are a fresh graduate of education. Tapos gusto mong mag-apply ng trabaho sa isang eskwelahan or sa isang paaralan. When you try to submit your resume and accompany it with a cover letter, yung cover letter mo, dapat daw addressed siya sa specific person. So, kung mag-a-apply ka sa isang school, alamin mo kung sino yung tao na dapat kong ilagay doon sa cover letter ko. Ilalagay mo or isi-search mo, i-research mo ngayon, sino yung principal doon sa school na gusto kong pag-applyan ng trabaho. Yun yung pangalan na ilalagay mo, no? That's also one way of knowing, no, in the part of the institution. Isa rin yun sa mga paraan na nag-effort ito, inalam nito na kung sino yung tamang tao na dapat i-address niya dun sa kanyang cover letter or dun sa kanyang sinubmit na mga documents. So, you should always address your cover letter to a specific person para mas effective siya. Next, to observe formality, you should also observe the block format. Pag sinabi nating block format, left-aligned, single-spaced with the exception of a space between each paragraph as well as a space above and below the date and above and below the salutation and signature. So, siguro naman, pamilyar tayo sa paggawa ng sulat, no? Kasi madalas tayong pinagagawa ng sulat mula pa elementary hanggang kayo ay mag-high school, no? So, yung ating cover letter, one way to observe formality is to use the block format. Kailangan left-aligned siya. So, nandun lang siya, pantay-pantay siya. left aligned sa isang part lang. Hindi pwedeng may nakalagay sa left, merong naka-center align, tapos merong nandoon sa right side, no? Hindi, napakagulong nun, tingnan. So, as much as possible to observe formality, use block format. And your cover letter should only be 3 to 4 paragraphs. Huwag nang sobrang haba kasi kahit sinong employer ang magbasa ng cover letter mo, hindi niya yan babasahin kung iyan ay isang nobela, yung tipong 2 pages pa yung cover letter mo, no? So, as much as possible, just make it short, make it direct, and advisable ay 3 to 4 paragraphs lang siya. So, yung ating cover letter, hindi ito letter to a friend, ha? So, you need to observe formality kasi ikaw ay nag-a-apply pa rin ng trabaho. Okay, for the format, for the header, use typical business formatting, beginning with the date, a return address, and the address of the recipient. No? So, kapag magsusulat ka na, ito yung format kung paano ka gagawa ng cover letter. Later, as we go along with the discussion, I'll give you an example, no? Pero, para lang mas maintindihan natin, gamit tayo ng business formatting sa paggawa ng cover letter. Siyempre, kailangan may date. Kailan mo ipinasa yung cover letter mo, sino yung dapat makatanggap niyan, at ano yung address nung dapat na makatanggap. So, yun yung nilalagay natin sa umpisa or sa unang bahagi. Sa first part ng ating cover letter. For the salutation, address your letter to a specific individual, if possible and preferably to someone with hiring authority. No, hindi naman porket siya yung kakilala mo doon sa pinapasukan mong kumpanya, siya na yung ilalagay mo doon sa salutation. No, make sure na yung taong ilalagay mo doon, siya talaga yung right person na pinagpapasahan ng mga documents. Siya ba yung nasa HR? Siya yung assigned ba sa HR? Or siya ba yung highest authority doon sa position na ina-applyan mo? If you don't know who this is, call the personnel department of the district. They will have the information you require. Make sure to spell the recipient's name correctly and that you know his or her title, no? Dapat daw alam natin kung sino yung tamang tao. Kung hindi natin kilala, magtanong tayo, mag-research tayo, no? Kung sino yung tamang tao na dapat ilagay doon sa salutation. And dapat din alam natin na kung ano yung title niya. One common mistake in writing the salutation part of the cover letter is, alam mo yung pangalan, na-research mo yung pangalan. Tapos, yung title niya naman yung mali. No? Dapat, kapag inalam natin yung pangalan, let's make sure that the title is also correct. No? Kasi in-earn yun ng tao. Kailangan tama rin yan. Okay, this is an example of the header, of a header. You should have a date there, the name of the person, written in capital letters, and ano yung position niya sa ilalim, ilalagay mo kung ano yung kanyang position. And the third line, nandoon yung pangalan noong institution or nung company. At sa fourth line, ay nandoon yung address ng company. So, kung titingnan natin yung example, you have there the details that you need to put in the header of your cover letter. Okay, for the salutation part, you have to address it to a specific person. Dear Mr. Pierce, no, dun sa header mo, sinulat mo na yung kanyang pangalan. Dun sa salutation, huwag mo nang ulitin na Dear Mr. James L. Pierce. No, hindi na ganun. Ganito na lang, Dear Mr. Pierce. O kaya naman, Dear Hiring Manager. Kailangan specific siya. Refrain from using to whom it may concern or Dear Sir or Dear Madam. iwasan daw natin yung gumamit ng mga ganyan sa salutation kasi hindi siya specific. Okay, now for the body of your letter, sabi natin kanina, in observing formality, you should only write 3 to 4 paragraphs. Now, these are the contents of your paragraphs. For the opening paragraph, you have to identify the position for which you are applying, indicate where you learned about the position, and write a bridge statement, a segue, referring to your qualifications. So, sa umpisa pa lang nung letter mo, sa opening paragraph mo, ilagay mo na kagad doon ano yung position na gusto mong applyan doon sa company or doon sa institution. And indicate mo doon saan mo nalaman. Nalaman mo ba siya dahil nakita mo on Facebook yung advertisement, nakita mo doon sa page mismo, sa website mismo ng institution or ng company, or kung saan mo siya nakita. So, i-indicate mo siya doon sa opening paragraphs. And it is also important that before you end your opening paragraph, there is a bridge statement. Meron kang segue para ma-introduce mo yung mga qualifications na meron ka, which you will write in the second paragraph of your cover letter. Now, in the second paragraph, you include briefly the reason why you are qualified for this position and outline previous work experiences that you think make you a perfect fit for the position. Make it catchy. Ensure that you look carefully at the job description or add to construct sentences showing how your experience specifically matches what the district is seeking. So, sa second paragraph mo, doon mo ilalagay kung ano yung qualifications mo na meron ka personally based on your educational background and work experiences. Ano yung meron ka na dahilan para maging ikaw na ang dapat tanggapin. No? Para maging perfect fit ka doon sa position na ina-applyan mo. Doon mo siya ilalagay sa second paragraph. At para magawa mo yun, kailangan syempre alam mo yung job description na ina-applyan mo. Since yung cover letter natin ay 3 to 4 paragraphs, as much as possible, meron lang tayong optional paragraph. No? Kung halimbawa, sa tingin mo, marami ka talagang qualifications na gusto mong i-include doon sa cover letter na talagang mapapag-yes mo yung employer na kuhanin ka, na ikaw yung i-hire doon sa position, you can add an optional paragraph. No? This is the time to list your other qualifications which may not be specifically necessary to the position, such as your transferable skills, membership in professional associations, volunteer work, etc. This may also be the time to exhibit your desire and enthusiasm for the job. No? So, optional lang naman siya kasi pwedeng 3 paragraphs lang. Yung opening paragraph, second paragraph, and then yung closing paragraph mo. Pero you can also add an optional paragraph at doon ilalagay mo ano pa yung iba mong qualifications na hindi man specific doon sa hinahanap ng trabaho pero sa tingin mo makakatulong para mas ikaw yung i-hire ng company or ng institution. And of course, the closing paragraph, thank the individual for taking the time to review your letter and create a positive ending. No? So, kapag i-end mo na yung letter mo, make sure that you thank the individual, thank the person that will receive your letter, that will review your letter, and create a positive ending. Okay, so here's an example of an opening paragraph. So, kanina nakita natin yung example ng header. Now, this is the body of the letter. Dear Mr. Pierce, as the enclosed resume attests, the customer support position advertised in the Sacramento Bee is a perfect fit with my qualifications. No, so, sa opening paragraph mo, di ba, sabi natin, sa umpisa pa lang, sasabihin mo na kung ano yung position na gusto mong applyan. So, dun sa example, sinabi niya na yung customer support position, yung gusto nyong applyan. And sabi rin natin, in your opening paragraph, you also indicate there saan mo nalaman yung trabaho na ina-advertise. So, nilagay din niya dyan yung kung saan niya nalaman yung position or yung trabaho. So, meron siyang segue doon sa kanyang mga qualification na may experience working as a help desk student assistant in the Division of Information Technology at San Francisco State University, and my vast experience in the audio field has prepared me to the technological, so on and so forth. No? So, pinakita niya dyan sa opening paragraph yung position na gusto niyang applyan, saan niya nalaman yung position, and yung bridge statement or yung segue doon sa mga qualifications na meron siya. Okay, this one is an example of body paragraph. No? You can see there, as my resume highlights, no? Kasi nga, may kalakip yan na resume yung cover letter. So, sabi niya dyan, as my resume highlights, I have offered high responsibility computer and software support for faculty, staff, and students. This experience, along with constant home use of computers, has given me a thorough background of many different forms of software and operating systems, including the Windows and Apple families, so on and so forth. So, sa body paragraph na example natin dyan, or doon sa kanyang second paragraph, makikita natin ano yung mga qualifications, yung mga work experiences niya na makakapag-support doon sa sinabi niya or doon sa ina-applyan niyang position. So, ganun yung pagsusulat natin ng second paragraph or ng body paragraph ng iyong cover letter. Okay, for the closing paragraph, you may indicate there this one. Please take the time to look over my resume and feel free to contact my references. I would love to further discuss this position in person. And then, pwede mong ilagay dyan yung kung saan kanila directly makakontakt. And of course, don't forget to thank the person. Thank you for your time and consideration. And sabi dyan, don't forget to sign your letter. No? Huwag natin kakalimutan ilagay yung pangalan and then pipirmahan mo. No? Signature over printed name. Okay, close your letter with sincerely or respectfully yours and type as well as sign your full name. So, mahalaga daw na tapusin mo yung cover letter mo nang may nakasulat na full name mo, maliban dun sa sincerely. After ng sincerely or respectfully yours, isulat mo yung iyong pangalan and then wag mo kakalimutang pirmahan. Kasi daw, minsan, nakaka-offend yung hindi pagpirma doon sa dokumento. Kasi parang nagmumukhang mass-produced yung iyong cover letter kasi hindi siya personalized. Walang personal touch kasi alang signature. So, don't forget to sign your cover letter. Okay. To wrap up the things that you need to remember in writing your cover letter, here are the cover letter mechanics. So, limit to 1 page and typically 3 to 4 paragraphs. So, kailangan yung cover letter mo hindi siya mag 2 pages, no? Kasi hindi naman siya ganun kahaba. Sabi nga natin, 3 to 4 paragraphs lang, no? 3 paragraphs will do as long as you have written there your opening paragraph, your body paragraph, and then yung closing mo. Okay na yun. Hindi kailangan sobrang haba ng letter mo. Address your cover letter to a specific person, no? Kasi mas effective yung nagiging dating ng cover letter kapag alam mo kung sino yung dapat mong sulatan. Tell employer the type of position you are seeking and if you read in a newspaper or someone mentioned it to you. No? So, kailangan ilagay mo doon kung anong position yung ina-applyan mo at saan mo siya nalaman. Sinabi ba siya sa'yo ng kaibigan? Nakita mo ba siya sa isang advertisement? So, you indicate that. Include 1 or 2 unique qualifications you have and how these relate to the position. Go beyond and highlight your specific qualifications. No? So, yung cover letter natin, sabi natin, it is more personal and it includes your qualifications. Ano yung highlight na qualification na meron ka na perfect fit doon sa job position na ina-applyan mo. Yun yung ilalagay mo doon sa iyong cover letter. Be brief, to the point, and businesslike. No errors. As much as possible, avoid natin yung errors grammatically or technically. Maiwasan natin, kaya tayo nagde-discuss ng ganito so that you can anticipate problems and so that you can also prepare good quality of cover letter. Include your contact information and that you follow up within 1 week. No, huwag kakalimutan na lagyan ng cover letter or ng contact information yung inyong cover letter sa closing part ng iyong letter. Be positive, enthusiastic, and professional-like. Very self-explanatory na to. Dahil ito ay isang cover letter na kasama sa pag-apply sa trabaho, dapat professional yung pagkakasulat niya, informal. And of course, don't forget to sign your letter. Okay, now that we have discussed what cover letter is and the purpose, why do we need to send it, and how to write a cover letter, it's now time for us to discuss resume. Nasabi na natin kung ano yung resume. Sabi natin it's a brief summary of your personal information, your work experiences, and your educational background. And now, i-discuss naman natin kung bakit naman natin kailangan gumawa ng resume. So, next discussion, why do you need a resume? It's a marketing tool to obtain an interview, not a job. Yung paggawa natin ng resume at pagpapasa nito sa mga possible companies or possible institutions na pwede nating pagtrabahukan, ang dahilan kung bakit tayo nagpapasa ay para makakuha tayo ng interview. Ang notion kasi natin, kaya tayo nagpapasa ng resume, syempre para makapagtrabaho. Yes, but before we acquire the job, kailangan makakuha muna tayo ng interview. May mga employers kasi na hindi lang sila nagbabase dun sa resume mo. Nagiging basis lang yung resume mo para tawagan ka nila doon sa interview, no? Kapag nakita nila yung resume mo, parang okay to, qualified ito, saka siya tatawagan or saka ka tatawagan nung employer, diba? Nung potential employer mo. At upon interview, at maganda yung result ng interview, syempre, doon ka palang magkakaroon ng trabaho. So, you need a resume to obtain an interview, not necessarily the job, no? Yung second step ay yung interview. It's a requirement of many organizations. Parang wala namang nag-hire, no? Bihirang-bihira naman sa mga organizations, institutions, or companies na mag-hire ng employee na wala man lang ipinasang resume, no? Kasi imposible yon na hindi ka hanapan ng resume o ng pagkakakilanlan mo, diba? To serve as a record in your file, diba? So, since it's a requirement of many organizations, it will also serve as a record of the organizations. Okay, yung heading, this section of a resume is one of the most important. No, it should include your name, your address, email address, and phone number. Hindi pwedeng sa isang resume mawala itong heading, no? Ito yung unang makikita sa iyong resume, no? It's either nasa gitna, nasa left side, or nasa right side. Pero ito yung talagang bubungad doon sa iyong resume. So make sure to let your name stand out by using bold and enlarging the font size of your name, no? Huwag naman yung sobrang laki na nakakabulag na yun na lang yung nakita dun sa page ng iyong resume. Hindi. Yung sapat lang para mag-stand out yung name yung pangalan mo, mas malaki yung font ng name mo kumpara doon sa other information mo gaya ng address, email address, and phone number. No? So, kailangan lang mag-stand out yung pangalan para makita agad nila. Use a professional email address. No? Hindi tayo gagamit ng katawa-tawang email address o kaya naman yung mga personal email address natin. As much as possible, kung ano yung pangalan natin, yun lang din yung nandun sa email address natin para hindi naman siya nakakalita or confusing sa part ng employer. Example, na hindi natin dapat gamitin ay crazychick@gmail.com no? O kaya naman box_00@ymail.com. Marami pang iba. Iwasan natin yun. If you have that kind of email address, okay lang. Personal email address mo yan. Wala namang masama kung yan talaga yung gusto mo at mas madali mo siyang matatandaan. Pero, when you want to apply for a job, make sure that you use a professional email address. No, mag-dedicate ka ng isang email address na lahat ng professional side of you nandoon lang sa email address na yun. The next part is the objective, which is only optional. Optional lang siya. Most resumes do not require objective anymore. Dati kasi yung mga dating resume na makikita nating example, meron talaga silang objective na part. No? Pero ngayon, yung mga latest copies ng resume na makikita natin, wala na. Optional na lang. Nasa sayo na lang. The objective is a one-sentence declaration of the job, of the type of job that you are seeking. It appears beneath the heading and as specific as possible, noting the company you are applying to, the job title you are seeking, and skills you would like to use in the job. No? Yung objective daw, kung maglalagay ka nito, one sentence lang siya. One sentence declaration of the type of job that you are seeking. Hindi ito mahaba. It's not 2 sentences or 3 sentences, 1 lang. Kailangan lang mailagay mo dun sa 1 sentence objective mo, ano yung klase ng trabaho na hinahanap mo or ina-applyan mo doon sa company. This should only be included if you can be specific about the position you are seeking. Otherwise, omit it. Halimbawa, nagpasa ka sa isang company, pag specific na position yung gusto mong applyan, you write the objective. No? Advisable na ilagay mo siya. Pero kung halimbawa naman, nagpasa ka doon sa company and para sa'yo, pwedeng hindi ka naman specific doon sa position na ina-applyan mo, pwede mo nang tanggalin yung objective. No? Optional lang siya. Next part of your resume is your education. This section of a resume lists all the colleges you have graduated from, along with their addresses and any degrees you have earned with the date you attained them. So, ito na yung part na ipapakita mo saan ka nag-aral, anong educational background mo. Pero kung halimbawa, magpa-part-time ka, tapos kailangan ng resume, sabi dito, if you are in the process of attaining a degree, list the expected date that you will receive it. Halimbawa, working student ka, nagpasa ka sa isang company, at kasalukuyan ka pang nag-aaral to attain the degree, pwede mong ilagay lang doon na kung kailan ka nag-start, and then yung expected date kung kailan ka matatapos. Do not list your high school unless it is of importance to the employer that you are applying it. Halimbawa, ikaw ay isang education graduate, tapos mag-a-apply ka halimbawa sa BINAS, tapos graduate ka ng BINAS. Pwede mo i-indicate yun dun sa resume mo. You can indicate that so that the principal or the person who will receive the cover letter, who will review your cover letter, will see na, dito pala siya graduate. So may bearing siya. It's of importance. Next, experience. An experience section on a resume can refer to paid, or unpaid jobs and should include your job title, the name of your employer, city and state, followed by dates of employment. Next, summarize your contribution to the position, achievements, and/or responsibility assumed. Okay, after ng education part, ililist down mo na yung iyong work experiences. Ano yung mga work experiences mo na magpapatunay na qualified ka doon sa trabahong ina-applyan mo. So, ilalagay mo daw doon, bayad man daw o hindi naging bayad yung trabaho, include mo siya. Isulat mo ano yung job title mo, saan ka nagtrabaho, saang lugar, and then kailan. No? Yun po yung nakalagay dun sa experience. Next, this is another optional part, honors and awards. This should include scholarships and other related honors. This can be school or non-school related. Make sure to include the date you received the honor or award. For clarification, it may be necessary to give short descriptions of the nature or purpose of some organizations, awards, so on and so forth. Yung honors and awards na part ng resume, optional lang siya. Kung halimbawa gusto mo lang ng pampadagdag doon sa iyong resume, pwede mong iisama yun. Kung halimbawa ikaw ay yung type of student na maraming achievements noong nag-aaral ka, and sa tingin mo, those achievements will help you be hired in the job that you are seeking, then go, ilagay mo yung honors and awards na nakuha mo. Pero kung halimbawa, yung honors and awards na nakuha mo, malayo naman dun sa job position na ina-applyan mo, pwedeng hindi mo na siya ilagay. Sabi din dito, yung mga i-include mo lang na awards ay yung pwede kasing maglagay ka doon ng mga scholarships na meron ka. Pero, based on merit, yung halimbawa, ikaw ay achiever, kaya ka scholar, pwede mo yung ilagay. But, if it's because of your financial need, kaya ka naging scholar of your indigency, pwedeng wag mo na yung ilagay. So, optional lang din yung honors and awards part ng resume. Next is the skills or highlights. In this section, you should inform the reader of any unique, relevant, or necessary skills that you have but are not reflected in the other sections of your resume. For example, foreign languages, computer applications, certifications. No? So, sa part na ito, maliban doon sa mga work experiences mo and educational background mo, ano pa yung meron ka na pwede mong i-offer doon sa institution or doon sa company. Dito na yun papasok sa skills and or highlights. Next part is references. This section should be on a separate sheet of paper that matches the font or format of your resume and cover letter. The heading on this page should also match your resume. You should always secure the permission of anyone you choose to use as a reference before giving his or her name. So, kung halimbawa yung iyong resume, umabot siya ng 2 pages, dapat yung pangatlong page ay yun yung iyong references or character references. So, kailangan nakahiwalay talaga siya. Kahit na pang third page siya at nakahiwalay siya dun sa first pages ng iyong resume, dapat same lang din yung kanyang format. And sabi dito, the most important thing that you should remember is always secure the permission of anyone you choose to use as a reference before giving his or her name. Hindi pwedeng isulat mo doon na reference mo siya, pero hindi naman niya alam kasi may mga companies talaga, organizations, that they really do background check of the possible or potential employees. Kaya tinatawagan nila yung mga nakalagay ng character references. Baka naman kasi mamaya matawagan yung nilagay mong character reference, wala siyang idea kung sino ka. O kaya naman wala siyang idea na, ay, nag-apply ka pala sa ganitong trabaho. O hindi niya alam kung ano yung mga dapat niyang sabihin or hindi niya mga dapat sabihin about you. So, make sure na alam ng mga tao na nilagay mo sa character references mo na kinuha mo sila na character references, no? Magpasabi ka beforehand na, uy, nag-apply ako sa ganitong trabaho, nilagay kitang character reference, no? And make sure na alam nila kasi kung kunin mo yung contact number nila, yun yung ilalagay mo sa reference mo. So, out of respect, ay ipaalam mo sa kanila beforehand. Now that you are familiar with the different parts of a resume, let us have a brief discussion of the types of resumes so that you will be familiar once you see one. The first is chronological resume. The chronological resume lists your work experience from the most recent backwards. So kung halimbawa, 5 years ka na nagtatrabaho and then you want to apply for a new job, pwede mong i-list down yung work experiences mo mula sa pinaka-recent or pinaka-latest papunta dun sa nauna na job experience mo. So, halimbawa, 2020, yung experience mo ng 2020, yun yung ilalagay mo, from 2019 to 2020. And then, from 2016 to 2019. Ganun, siya? Backwards siya. This is the simplest of resumes, and it is a useful format if used properly. This resume format is preferred by most employers and works best when you've had a long, steady work history and promotions that you want to showcase. So, effective yung chronological resume kasi nasusundan ng employer yung naging progress mo, yung naging history mo doon sa trabaho na mga napasukan mo. So, mas nalalaman nila, makikita nila kung ano na yung record mo, yung track record mo when it comes to your work experiences and possible promotions na nagkaroon ka. Next kind or type of resume is the functional resume. The functional resume is arranged around your skills and abilities. For example, if you are strong in communication skills, under that major heading, you would list variety of supportive experiences from different jobs, school, or volunteer situations. This format is sometimes used by those with little work experience or those who are game changers. Okay, yung functional resume, sabi dito, madalas siyang ginagamit or sometimes used. Minsan ginagamit daw siya nung mga kaunti pa lang yung work experiences. Kasi kung marami ka nang naging work experiences, you may choose to use the chronological resume. So, dito, sa functional resume, kung halimbawa kaunti pa lang yung naging work experiences mo, pero siksik at liglig naman yung skills na meron ka, yun yung i-highlight mo dun sa resume mo. So, functional resume ang sagot para maipakita mo at mai-showcase mo kung ano yung meron ka na qualifications. Next is combination resume. Combination combines elements of chronological and functional resume to improve the clarity or presentation of a resume. For example, if you have a good work history that supports your current job objective, you could start with the skills section that supports the skill needed in the job that you want. So, yung combination resume siya from the word yung combination resume from the word combination, pwede mong pagsamahin yung chronological at saka yung functional resume. No? Para daw mas maging malinaw yung presentation ng iyong resume. Highlight mo yung skills na meron ka along with the work history or work experience na magsusupport doon sa sinisik mong job position. So, for the language, formatting, and tips, ito daw yung mga dapat nating tandaan. When formatting, remember there is no one absolute format. Create a format that best represents you. There are many available templates on the internet. Maraming mga makukuha ka or mada-download, ma-edit, mamomodify ng mga templates na ng resume. Maganda yon, magandang way yon para maipakita mo yung iyong creative side, no? Mapili mo kung ano yung template na gusto mo, tapos ma-edit mo na lang siya according to your information into your qualifications. Wala naman daw best or absolute format ng isang resume. Gawa ka lang daw ng resume na magre-represent sa'yo. But of course, it should have all the parts that we discussed. Okay, for the formatting rules, margins can be as small as 0.5 inches. So, kung halimbawa marami kang ilalagay, nakasulat dun sa iyong resume, pwedeng at least 0.5 yung inches ng margin mo. Font can be 10 point if necessary. Kung halimbawa marami talaga na achievements, work experiences, pwede naman na 10 point. But as much as possible, hindi na bababahan ng 10 kasi ano na yon, sobrang liit na. It's not very readable for your employer or for the person that will review your resume. You should always include a cover letter with your resume. Kung halimbawa gumawa ka ng or nag-submit ka ng resume, kailangan lagi siyang may partner na cover letter. Do not use the word I. Huwag kang gagamit ng word na I. Use few abbreviations. Yung talagang, kailangan lang i-abbreviate. Pero kung hindi naman, buuin mo yung salita. Do use capitalization to highlight job titles. So, pwede kang mag-capitalize sa mga job titles. Do use bullet points to emphasize job descriptions. No? Para naman sa mga job descriptions, mag-bullet points ka. Always use action verbs in job description. So later on, I will give you an example of this one. This one is an example of a resume. Specifically, this is an example of a chronological resume. So kung mapapansin nyo, the name Matthew Taylor, the name there, stands out as compared to the details on the right side, no? Kumpara dito sa details na meron siya, ito yung kanyang address, contact number, and email address, mas malaki yung font size ng kanyang pangalan. Para mas mag-stand out siya, yun agad yung makita ni employer. And then, ang in-include niya ay education agad. No? Saan siya nag-aral, hindi niya na isinulat yung elementary. No? Kasi hindi naman siya, wala naman siyang bearing. It's not important for the job position that he is applying. Next is yung kanyang work experiences. No? Ano yung job title niya doon sa huling trabaho na pinasukan niya. Siya raw ay isang CVS pharmacy. So, kailan yon at saan? Corona, CA, or California. January 29 or January 2009 up to present. So, yan yung kanyang trabaho. Sa CVS Pharmacy, doon siya nagtrabaho. Ano yung work niya doon? Yung job title niya? Store Manager. And then, itong mga naka-bullet type na to, train and manage, yan, train employees, so on and so forth. Those are what we call job description. So, kung mapapansin nyo, walang ginamit dyan na I train and manage up to 20 probationary employees. I supervise 50 employees. Wala. No? Walang I na ginamit. Nagsimula siya agad sa action words. So, ganun natin isusulat yung mga job descriptions. Next, this part is also another work experience. Nagtrabaho naman daw siya sa Edna's Cafe, Riverside, California. Kailan? At ano yung kanyang job title? Cashier. No? So, yung mga bullet types na yan, Yan din ay mga example ng job description niya. As a cashier, ano yung ginawa niya nun? Informed customers of daily specials, explained how various menu items were prepared. What else? Described and recommended menu items to customers. So, yung mga bullet points, those are the job descriptions. Highlights ng kanyang skills. Ano daw yung meron siya aside from the experiences that Matthew Taylor had? What are the other skills that he has? Work well in high-pressure environment, strong background in all phases of conflict resolution. What else? Proficient in MS Word, Excel, Access, PowerPoint, and Publisher. So, meron pang self-starting, goal-oriented, no, yung kanyang qualities na makakapagpa-oo doon sa employer at i-hire siya. So, next part of a resume is the references. Ito na yung nasa separate sheet of paper. So, makikita mo dyan, merong tatlo, at least 3 references. And then, ano yung position nila, saan sila nagtatrabaho, and what are their contact details, their email address, and the contact number. So, yun yung ilalagay mo sa dulo, sa character references. That's the end of our discussion on how you can prepare your cover letter and resume. I hope that I made some things clear. And sana nakatulong yung discussion natin para mas makapag-prepare kayo ng resume and cover letter nyo, not just as a requirement in your work immersion class, but as something that you can use in the future kapag kayo ay nag-apply na ng trabaho, pagkatapos yung gumraduate, o kung hindi naman ay makapagtrabaho ka na after ng senior high school. So, sana natulungan kayo ni Ma'am Mercy na makagawa ng resume at ng cover letter. That's all. Thank you and good luck and God bless in your requirements. Goodbye.